What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR, running through some indicators, talking about some technical analysis, and talking about the future of MicroStrategy. We've been respecting this long-term trend line, looking very, very good. We've had our moment, our little oh shit moment real quick, but it looks like it kind of just turned right around. We had that moment where we're like, hey man, this thing's looking like we could retest and continue pushing down lower. We had that moment where we were thinking that. Right now, it's always a possibility, but that isn't our primary concern right now. We just need to hold this trend line, but I think this is the least probable scenario that we break down below and just trade underneath this range. It can definitely happen today, honestly, but I don't think it's a likely scenario. So we've just been fighting for our life right now. We've been fighting for our life right now in this zone, just absolutely compressed with this level of resistance, acting as resistance, and this trend line. We've just been tightly bouncing around, kind of stuck in this range as well. Price is just boxed up, very congested. So let's see if we can get that move to the upside. We need to get that close above here to start feeling a little bit of relief, but then we have to break this. This is the one right here. This is what we need to see. We have to break this trend line. We have to get above this. Close, retest, and then we have this golden zone that we'll have to break through later on. And when you pull this golden zone to the downside, this is a bearish pull. So this is a continuation of the downside, or to the downside. We haven't touched the golden zone yet. It looks like we touched it here, but that's not true, because if you're talking about this one, then this is the golden zone for this pull right here. So this pull is a little bit deeper, because now we're looking, since we pulled to this point, we're only looking to the right. So we've only almost touched the 382, and that's it. So we haven't even touched the golden zone yet. So let's see how price reacts when it gets there. Hopefully we can get to it, close above it, and then bounce off the 618 and reverse this entire thing. So what we would love to see right now is a nice W shape, or a double bottom, as you can call it. So we'd have something like this, where we have this first leg, boom, retest that line, and a double bottom. Or it could be considered a triple bottom if you want to say that as well. Or you have something like this, boom, boom, second retest, and then third retest. So either way, it's the same concept. They're both bullish. So let's see if that's what we're getting. We will find out with time, of course. But I think overall, looks very good long term. So this looks like it's still playing out very well. This great trend line's been holding up like a champion. I definitely don't want us to lose that. But if we do, it's understandable. It is a leverage play on Bitcoin, so it's always possible that we could deviate from the normal structure of what we have drawn out, because it's leveraged movements. Leverage movements are always exaggerated. So always got to understand that. Leverage charts are always going to be a little bit different than the standard charts. But anyways, we're going to take a look here at the SMAs on the daily. Got that nice move. I mean, perfect green engulfing candle. We got a little bit of wick, here, but we'll call that an engulfing candle. Now we're kind of stuck in limbo in between. We're currently at 282.98 in pre-market. Looking good, trying to make our way to this zone here. But this is going to be a strong zone to break, because you have resistance above your head here from 284 to 293. So you have one thing above your head. Then on top of that, you have the 20-day moving average, and you have the 50-day moving average. So this is a lot of resistance. So getting to 300 will be a huge deal. Getting a bounce off of this and breaking this trend line is like the ultimate thing that we need. So our main focus right now is in this area right here. We need to break this. We got to break this, and I think from there we can really start going. If a move is going to happen, it's going to be once we crack through this structure. Like everything else is kind of just noise temporarily. So like this move, it was just noise because we broke this, which is very bullish, the 50-day, but then you have this above your head. So what ends up happening? We get excited. I was excited, but I knew, hey, looking at the Bitcoin chart, there's a chance that we could run into some trouble unless we break it, and we ran into some trouble. Happened here, and so on. So I'm saying I think the same thing could potentially happen, but we need to see a repeat of this move. But then instead of getting this red candle, we see that green candle outside of it. And then we can start saying, hey, this actually might be a real breakout. So until then, we're just kind of just stuck trending sideways, compressing. But remember, the longer price compresses, the more likely it is to break out further up. So this is a good thing. And also it goes both ways because it actually can compress and shoot down further. But we did get a bounce off the 50-week. Amazing. We love to see that. 50-week keeps the trend very much intact, and you see strong moves after breaking 50s. So that 50 is a yellow and red or yellow and pink, and it goes down dramatically. It runs up dramatically once you break it. So beautiful sign. Love to see that. On the daily Bollinger Bands, we're still just stuck in between. Not too much to see here yet. We had a nice move where we closed outside of the Bollinger Bands and we made it all the way back to the blue band in one day. That's amazing. So we just want to get back above that blue band. And on the weekly, we just got a strong bounce off of the green band. Let's see how the week closes. I would love to see the week close today above 295, but I'm okay with it just closing where it's at. I would just like to see it above 295. That'd be extremely bullish to start off that next week, getting a bounce here off of this zone and rallying up. But we'll see. We do have PPI coming out in 20 minutes. So maybe that can shake the market up a little bit, hopefully in a good way, not in a bad way. It was interesting to see the CPI came out very good, but the market didn't react. I thought with the release of that data on CPI that the market would have taken off because that was very good data that came out. So it shows that inflation's cooling more than expected. So I thought that would have been a good sign, but markets are weird. Maybe they're still concerned about tariffs and stuff like that, and maybe that's why it didn't rally. Who knows? There's so many factors that play a role that sometimes there's other factors that will make the economic data not as important sometimes, and vice versa. So it's weird. And sometimes with economic data too, like when you start learning about it, you'll see that good news is actually bad, and then sometimes good news is actually good for the market, which is very crazy, but that's how it is sometimes. But anyways, on the daily RSI, we made our way up to the yellow moving average and we got a little push down. So let's see if we're creating a nice little head and shoulders. That'd be nice. I'll draw it out for you guys right now here on the RSI. So we got our first shoulder. Oh, my bad. We got our first shoulder here. Boom. Shoulder. Head. Shoulder. And that's a bullish sign right there. That could be very nice. So we'll see. I would love to see that. But it looks like we're forming a head and shoulders. So let's see if it plays out. On the weekly, we're still bearish. We're still pointing downward. So we want to see this thing curl back up and push back up to the upside and reclaim this yellow moving average. On the daily, we're trying to get a move back up, but we're kind of just fighting with ourselves. We're just trying to see this volume decrease and see this thing maybe double bottom. Right now it's starting to create that W shape. So maybe we get that head and shoulders on the RSI, that inverse head and shoulders on the RSI, and then we get this W shape double bottom right here to push up and see these candles turn green. So then we have strength and volume underneath price, and it's game over there. Once you get that volume behind MSTR, People are going to be FOMOing in, and it's going to be fun to be in. I'll tell you that. Everybody that's been buying down here or before will just be enjoying the ride. Let's take a look at Bitcoin really quick. So we're kind of still in the same situation. We need to break this trend line to move upward and make our way to that $88,000 level. And once we break that, we need to break 92 to 91 to move up into this range. This is the key range. This is the range that we want to be in. Once we see this, we're looking very good. Once we see this range once again, in my opinion, that means that all this was just short-term noise, and then we're back in. We're actually playing the game again. Right now, we're just kind of sitting on the sidelines. And if we were to break down, we have to worry about 80,600 to 79,800. And if we fall below that, then we could potentially see 73.6 once we surpass this wick to 73,000. And then from there down to 67,000 potentially. Depends on the volume and everything. But Bitcoin's been holding up well against SP 500. SP 500 dropped pretty dramatically, and Bitcoin held up better than I expected. I can tell you that. That was a beautiful sight to see. I mean, this is S&P 500. That's a pretty significant drop, as you can see. And it looks like we're on the monthly. It's just potentially just going to be a massive wick, just like we saw here, almost like a COVID bottom recovery. So that would be beautiful. We just need to see this weekly. If we can get a close right above this trend line, that'd be perfect. But even then, if we adjust the trend line, maybe we just have it drawn out a little bad. Let's see. See if we adjust it, maybe we're already inside of it. See, I had it here because it's an additional touch. Adding this one in is an additional touch. But if I just go to the body, maybe I don't know. It's kind of tricky to draw this one. We might be in already. It all depends on how you draw it, but we could be in. Maybe we're not in. We just want to see that move happen. I do have this chart that I saw that was interesting. I showed it in my Bitcoin video earlier today. This is the second time I've used this chart. I think it's pretty interesting. It's Bitcoin divided by the VIX, and you can see these are major bottoms before large moves on Bitcoin. So if you lay this over with the Bitcoin chart, you'll see that Bitcoin absolutely ripped in these scenarios. So as you can see here, we have the pink as Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin divided by VIX, and you see these major bottoms before large moves up is when we touch these. So what if this touch here is just that next move up? We even had one in August 2024 before that nice shoot up that we had September to December. So what if this is just a repeat? And then that goes back into global liquidity and all that other stuff. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just lining up. And honestly, I'm okay being wrong because there's just so many things pointing in the right direction that I feel like it'd be foolish for me to be like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's not gonna run up from here. I rather just say it's gonna run up from here and then be wrong because I have everything showing that it is gonna happen, than to just be like, oh yeah, no, I just think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm just using what I'm seeing on the charts and everything, and there's so many things pointing in the same direction that I just have to be bullish, you know? So, and I'm not always bullish on assets, you know. In 2022, I was very bearish for, you know, probably half of the drop that it made. So I'm not a perma bull. You'll see that with time. I'm still new to YouTube, so I've only been making videos for like a month. But you'll see when the time comes, I'll start, you know, advising you guys, or this isn't financial advice, but I will start advising you guys like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. Hey, I'm trimming off, you know, 25% of my position. Hey, I'm selling the whole thing. It could go higher, but I'll kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm doing. Right now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just always adding. I'm adding to the position. So I'll let you guys know when I'm trimming and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, yeah. So this has called these bottoms before major moves up, and actually pulled fibs on them, which is pretty cool. And you can see the 886 is actually the star here. So you get a bounce off the 886. We fell beneath it, and then we had an exaggerated move, but that was because of COVID. So we surpassed the 886 on this one, but 886 is the key player here. So we're going to pull again to this top, move this to the bottom here, and then look who's the star again, the 886, get a bounce off of that. Then we're going to pull to this one here, off this most recent bottom, and who's the star here? We got to bounce right off the 886 again. And let's see if we get that move up. So we're just connecting dots, seeing correlation. And now we're gonna do it in a bullish. I mean, it was already bullish, but it was more for retracement. Now we're looking for targets. So we're pulling from here to here. So everything to the right is relevant. So initially, this first pull made it to the 2272, and you had that second leg that touched the 2272 again. So you had one touch here, it came back to 786 and stuff like that, hit a couple of these levels and ran back up to the 2272. So we're going to pull it again. So right now we're just kind of focused on the 2272. That seems to be the target caller. We're going to pull from there to this one here, and this one called up almost to the 2272. Not exactly, but that's okay. All you need is a piece in the market. When you spend more time in the market, you start realizing there's so much money in the market that I don't need to be perfect. I just need a piece of the market. And once you learn that, you won't FOMO in, you won't be too greedy. You just know that all you need is a piece. So if we draw that out, maybe the 2272 is going to be right here at 340 billion. And maybe we only get up to the 1618, and that's 245. But that's still a large move from where we're at currently. So that's exciting. If we hit the 272, that's 350 or 340. So I think this is something to take in consideration. You can take the chart down if you want. It's BTC divided by VIX. Something to look at. Keep in the back of your mind. Overall, extremely bullish, looking good. It looks like, the other moves that we had where we ran up, we went sideways for 2-3 months, then ran up, went sideways for 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 months, ran up. Now we're sideways for a couple months, 3, 4, 5 months, and it looks like we're probably going to get another run up. But that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.